Welcome viewers once again. In the last class, we are discussing about the emotional regulation, emotional labor, and how the leaders can use these emotional labor strategies like the deep level strategy or surface level strategy, and how they can blend it for enhancing their leadership qualities, efficiency, etc. Now, the question here is whether the leaders are born or made. This is it's an open question. So, some people are, we can say that some people are inborn leaders. Some people are born leaders in the sense that at the time of birth they automatically that means by birth genetically they possess some of the emotional traits, some of the personality traits, and in the process of socialization also they have developed those traits and the skills and competencies, and so they are, you can say they are the born leaders, but whereas leaders can also be groomed, developed through training also. So, some people appear more naturally inclined to the to be the better leaders because of their personality traits, like maybe that they are very extrovert, they are outgoing, and their socialization process has taken in that way. So, for that matter they are more inclined outgoing towards the society, their attribution style is like that. So, they are more inclined to, but whereas others in case of others, leadership skills can also be, competencies and skills can also be developed through training, practice, and making effort. However, a balance is always needed. Balance is always needed between the innate personality traits, training, and developing practical skills, interpersonal skills and competencies of the effective leaders. However, even though you are born with some of the leadership traits, attributes, but you are required to brush it up. You are required to develop more competencies, more skills, efficiency by going through rigorous training, or for by going through higher education, practice, orientation, internship. So, these are the ways and means. So, you may be having some inborn talent, but at the same time we need to brush it up. So, always effective leadership can be produced when a balance is being maintained between the innate personality traits. We have to identify it, we have to brush it up, we have to nurture it. Training, we have to design the training according to the requirements, needs of the leader. Develop certain practical skills, that means how to deal with the real life situation, how to deal with the practical problems, and yes, how to establish a relationship network. So, relations, for relationship management, he has to develop, the leader has to develop interpersonal skills and competencies, and to blend all these things, attributes perfectly to be an effective leader. So, to be an effective leader requires a skills in effective leadership. Here we say why it is effective leadership. Yes, cognitive leadership is intellectual, only intellectual attribute. When we are talking about it, that EI should be perfectly blended with intelligence, IQ, that is called the emotion, feelings. So, all these things, it comes the affect, that means affect, feeling, emotion, these components should also be perfectly blended with the intelligence. So, here we can say, so effective leader needs to develop the skill of blending the intelligence with the affects like emotions, feelings, expressions, etc. So, that is called the effective leadership. So, effective leadership means a leader who can emote, who can express his thoughts, emotions, feelings, who can regulate others' emotions, persuade others, motivate others, influence others. So, that is called the effective leadership. So, to be an effective leader, the leader requires the effective leadership. Means like when we talk about transformational leaders or the authentic leaders, so we also expect that along with the intellectual caliber, intellectual stimulation, etc., and intellectual thoughts, ideas, visions, missions, etc., the leader also need to acquire or possess certain effective skills like related to emotions, feeling, empathy, compassion, cooperative, positive attitude, helping attitude, etc., etc. So, now the next another component is emotional contagion. We have already discussed about emotional labor, that is why you are making the special effort, conscious effort of expressing an emotion. So, emotional contagion, emotions are, some of the emotions are also contagious. It can be spread, it can be shared instantly with conscious effort, without conscious effort. So, that is called emotional contagion. When it gets contagious, it spontaneously, consciously also induce the same emotion among others, gets shared with others in a social context, it generates the same emotion among others in a group context, then it is called the emotional contagion. So, it is a process by which emotions shared across a group in a social context. You might have observed any kind of agitation is started in the student in the university campus or the college campus with one situation, with one instance, with one individual or two individuals. When they get agitated, the whole campus get agitated. That is the emotional contagion. Similarly, when we celebrate, like India won over any of the country, West Indies, Pakistan, Australia, etc., in some of the IPL match or any test match. So, when the happiness clicked there, so all of us, we instantly become happy. So, it is in that context you can say the emotions are contagious. In this, it can quickly spread it, can quickly be shared by other group members instantly in the social context, and can occur spontaneously and consciously induced as well. It can instantly, spontaneously can be generated, as well as we can also stimulate others, we can induce others to feel happy, to feel, to celebrate victory, to feel happy, to be very joyful in a particular moment. So, emotional contagion and the performance outcomes, both the individual and the group context are very much related. So, when we are talking about the educational leaders or transformational leaders to motivate others, to intellectually stimulate the fellow colleagues and the staff, and to motivate the stakeholders, make them committed towards the community development, this and that. So, here again we have to make the emotion more contagious in order to make them more motivated, in order to make them more committed. So, in a group context, if we want to generate a particular kind of positive emotion, we have to induce others consciously by making special effort. Purposefully we have to make effort to make it contagious, and so that every member in the group context feel the same experience, feel the same emotion. So, the primary motto is that to motivate others, to energize the group members, to to develop, to strengthen the group dynamics, group emotional bonding, and to motivate all of them to work together collaboratively. So, we can say, to conclude this chapter now, we can say that emotional labor, that it like making special effort, adopting a particular strategy to exhibit, to show positive emotion, usually positive emotion, or if it is required, whenever it is required, to show the sadness, negative emotions like sadness, this kind of thing. So, emotional labor, effective leadership, leader who can show off, who can exhibit, demonstrate his own emotions openly, like emotions, his feelings, and openly before others. Positive emotions, also positive emotions are it's more influential, it's more induce, it's more, you can say, motivating, in the sense that to induce motivation, to induce positive spirit, positive energy. So, positive emotions, all these things, if these things put together, like emotional labor, effective leadership, and the positive emotion, if these three things can put together as an integrated working model, it is an integrated working model, like it is a part of our working model, day to day functioning with the collaborative practice. All of us, we collaboratively practice it, not that is only one individual leader practice it, but all of us, all the group members, all the employees and the staff, we collaboratively practice this, and we perfectly blend this and integrate this in our work style in the workplace, learning, workplace performance. So, definitely it is going to enhance both the individual and organizational performance. So, both the individual and organizational performance can be enhanced by perfectly blending emotional labor, genuine emotional labor, effective leadership, positive emotion, integrated working style, collaborative practice together. So, here one thing is that, so in this process, every individual member, every individual staff and colleague and student, etc., they will learn and they will develop the emotional intelligence. Sometimes we can also organize some workshops and training programs purposefully to develop this kind of soft skills, or how to develop the emotional intelligence among the students. Nowadays, primarily it is very much required to give special training, exclusive training to our students to our school students, college students, to deal with their stress, to deal with their academic stress, to deal with their personal stress, to deal with their traumas, to deal with their failures, to deal with their failures, how to maintain the healthy interpersonal relationship, how to maintain the social relationship, how to maintain a bond with the family, with the friends, and others. Even though it's in the IT age, everybody is busy with social networking and Facebook and this and that, but they are remaining very aloof and isolated from this kind of actual real life situation. Hence, it's our suggestion, our efforts should be in the direction of making each and every individual child, each and every adolescent, each and every college student to learn about emotional intelligence and how to develop it within themselves, to organize different kinds of trainings, training programs, workshops, and give them some kind of internship with the real life situation, with mentoring, etc., so that from the very beginning they develop this emotional intelligence, because otherwise because it can resolve many of their academic conflicts, personal conflicts, emotional conflicts, interpersonal conflicts, and so that they become very matured, quick enough matured, and they can deal with their stress and negative emotions and traumas and failures very boldly and courageously, etc. Now in the today's scenario, it is of the heightened importance, and it's very urgent that in our academic curriculum, in our academic curriculum framework, we have to put this exclusively this give emphasis on this emotional intelligence and training, purposeful training on emotional intelligence, organizing workshop, training workshop, etc., from time to time for developing their soft skills and especially emotional intelligence to deal with their day-to-day traumas, day-to-day hustles and bustles, day-to-day failures, to strengthen their emotional life so that they can perfectly blend it with their with their intelligence, whatever intelligence potential they are having, so they can get the academic success. Not only that, means how to set the priorities, how to fix different alternatives, how to strategically approach all this. We need to teach all our students, all our learners, from the primary school to the university students. We need to organize. It's the need of the hour. It's the need of the hour. We need exclusively for the students. Urgently we need it for the students, and as well as we should also provide it to our young teachers, adult teachers, staffs and colleagues, for all of them. So it's my request to all the viewers to take this concept very seriously. That means we can in your respective workplaces, we can organize the things, and intentionally, individually, by making effort. Also, so many videos are also available in the net, in the YouTube. By going through these videos, by by talking to our peers, by strengthening our interpersonal relationship with the family, with the friends, so we can also consciously make effort to develop this emotional intelligence within ourselves. It is a very urgent, is very very important component in our life. So now we'll just have look on this this video, YouTube video, from which we can also learn so many things.
So what's the difference between intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence? Now, there are actually 8 different intelligences that have been categorized, but today we're going to be looking at emotional intelligence, specifically the book written by Daniel Goleman. So why is emotional intelligence so important? Well, you can tell the difference between a robotic person who knows a lot, but they have very little emotions, and a charismatic intellectual who seems to move a whole audience. And you can also tell it in their bank account, friends, and love lives as well. In fact, Daniel Goleman says that those who have just enough IQ to get into a decent university, but have stellar EQ, are the ones who rake in the most cash. So how can you develop your EQ, and what can you do to cultivate it? So there are 5 areas of growth you can work on to increase your EQ score, developed by Daniel Goleman. I'm going to go over some topics that revolve around them and how you can work on increasing your emotional intelligence today. So the first is self-awareness, the second is managing emotions, the third is self-motivation, which personally this is an area I could work on. The fourth is empathy, and the fifth is handling relationships. So the first big topic we're going to go into today is called the ventilation fallacy. So there's this stereotypical thought in modern society that to get over your feelings or anger or something like that, we must talk about them. And this helps to some degree to cognitively think about your subconscious feelings, but venting does not help. Yelling, ranting, typing up essays over bitterness, flipping someone off, cesspools of poison as a status update, or any other form of venting method are, according to Daniel's theory, wrong and technically make the situation worse. See, venting when you're angry prolongs your feelings and doesn't help stop them. Goleman and many other studies have proven this. I think venting when you're sad is okay because it's a great way to find out why you're sad, and thus you can make the changes you need to not be sad anymore. But when you're angry, there's usually not much cognitive thinking, and it's usually mostly just emotional lizard brain thinking that happens to cause problems down the road. So try not to vent. So the next topic we're going to go over is to try not to ruminate over things. Instead, try to find distractions. So in high school, I used to be very self-conscious about the things I'd say to other people. Like, was I funny? Did I sound smart? These meant a lot to me when I was in high school, and I thought about them a lot. Eventually, I started a new hobby. I started weightlifting. Now, this little hobby lasted for probably 4 to 6 months, but I lifted good and almost every single day. And this was a great distraction, but it also built up my physical stature, which physiologically made me more confident. So I distracted myself about what I would say by weightlifting. It's kind of hard to explain, but my confidence increased, and I didn't worry about as much of what I said. I know some people deal with depression and negative thoughts every day. In fact, I dare to say lots of people do. And there is a way around this, because I've been there and I know the environments and thoughts and fears and pain. They only self-feed and they grow, and it's hard to get out of. So negative thoughts keep you in the negative mindset, and just like the confirmation bias, they will confirm your sad feelings. According to the availability bias, things that you ruminate on, things that you're constantly thinking about, will stick around easier and they won't go away on their own. So you need to fill your head with new ideas instead. Get some hope by starting a business. Gain some confidence by working out. Do something physically active to distract your brain and raise it to a higher energy level. It can be done. You just have to have the motivation to do it, which is also very important to emotional intelligence and, like willpower, can be strengthened over time. So the next big topic is going to be self-motivation. So self-motivation is obviously closely tied to willpower, and you can cultivate it. Most of the time, passion will drive you to do something. So find something that you have passion in, and you'll likely have tons of self-motivation. For me, at times it has been web development, playing with lasers, weightlifting, and now it's making awesome, helpful videos. So the important thing to this is you have to be very self-aware. You have to know what you can do to motivate yourself. So I'm going to go into a little subcategory. Most people are motivated by one of 4 things. They all start with M: money, mating, momentum, or mastery. Of course, money is material things and gaining wealth. Mating is sexual or romantic desire, and this helps if you want to lose weight, weightlift, or get in better shape. Momentum is basically freedom, doing what you want, where you want, and always growing. For me, this channel's momentum is huge. I love waking up and seeing 300 new subscribers or a couple Facebook messages about how I have changed someone's life. It drives me to make more videos knowing I'm making a difference in so many lives. And the last is mastery, which is basically status, and being able to tell others you're a great leader, or you know how to program in 8 programming languages, or speak in 14, or you're an 8th degree black belt. Find what motivates you and use it to your advantage. So if you've never heard of the marshmallow story, I'm going to sum it up pretty quickly. Basically, they take a whole bunch of little 4-year-olds and they bring them into this room and they give them 2 options. 1, they can eat a marshmallow right now, or 2, they can wait until the researcher gets back and have 2 marshmallows. And they actually videotaped this study. So what they did, after probably 15, 20 years, they started and they went back to these people and they were trying to figure out that the people that waited and got the 2 marshmallows and they practiced delayed gratification, were they more successful? What they found was that after graduation, waiting, having this ability to delay gratification, was a better predictor than IQ of their SAT scores. It is also a huge factor of emotional intelligence and future success. So there's also studies that say you can strengthen your willpower and your ability to delay gratification just like a muscle, and also that it gets weak throughout the day and the more you use it, also like a muscle. So the next topic I'd like to go over is that emotions are contagious. So there was this study where they took a volunteer with a high energy level. That is, they were super excited, pumped up, exuberant, and they put them with another volunteer with a low energy level. That is, they were almost depressed. And they set them in a room for a couple minutes to talk. But before they talked, they filled out a form giving them a qualitative review of their moods. A couple minutes later, and magic happened. They gave the form back to both people, and what they realized was that most people didn't stay the same energy level. In fact, in most cases, the high energy level was transferred to the low energy person, which means that if you're in a slump or a rut and you can't seem to get happy or be excited about life, start hanging around people with lots of energy, lots of drive, lots of people who are ambitious and happy about life, because it's contagious. On the other hand, if you see one of your friends in the dumps, do them a favor and help them out. start spending more time around them. So the next topic is going to be empathy. So empathy is the ability to feel and react to the emotions of others. Now this is a requirement for being a great leader, and you must know what motivates other people and how to pick someone up effectively when they're in a rut. So knowing other people's feelings, especially if you know them better than they do, will give you an edge, and you'll be perceived as highly intelligent in any field. But the best advice I can give you is to talk to lots of people about their feelings on an emotional level and finding out how they tick. So the last topic we're going to talk about is managing relationships, and this topic is kind of hard to go into in this video. So if you want to check out my other videos, also check out Gary Vaynerchuk's videos. He has some amazing videos on managing relationships and empathy. Go check them out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something from it. If you did, smash that like button below. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more amazing life-changing videos.
So all of us, we should make effort to consciously develop our emotional intelligence, because it is it can be developed till the end of our life. It is a continuous process, like the learning. It's a learning cycle. It's a social learning. It's a social intelligence. So all of us, we should make effort to update, improve our emotional intelligence again and again, from day by day, to make it as maximum as possible, because it is, you can say, it's can be stretched through, it's ever stretched through the last stage of of our life. So it's an ongoing continuous process. All of us, we should make continuous effort. So not only to understand our own emotions and how perfectly to blend it in our thought process, so that we can achieve academic success, professional success, we can maintain healthy interpersonal relationship, but also we can help others in understanding their emotions, their problems, motivating them, guiding them, especially in case of the students, in case of the learners, in case of the children. So in this way, the teachers, teacher educators, educational leaders, they can enhance their self-efficacy and self-esteem, by again and again validating their social perceptions, self-perceptions through intuition and through learning experiences, through and get it authenticated through experiences learning, by taking others' feedback, by developing the social perspective, perceptiveness. So in this way, not only we can enhance our individual effectiveness, leadership ability, we can make our life much more easier, a better life, a quality life, a happier life, as well as the successful life. So it is my request to all of you, all the viewers, to take this topic very seriously, make conscious effort, not only to develop among yourself the emotional intelligence and competence, but try to inculcate, try to develop these kind of skills and competences among each and every stakeholders, the learners, the students, the staff, the colleague, among everybody, so that automatically subsequently 80% of our social conflict, 80% of our interpersonal conflict, 80% of our workplace conflict can be reduced, and we can lead a very happy life, a very healthier life. So now we come to an end of this chapter. Now thank you very much. Then next session we will continue to another topic. Thank you.